The necklace.
on the foothills of Mount Kilimanjaro. This is the story, a story you find throughout Africa. There was once a time when the blue sky was invisible, when the whole world was covered with mist.
That reminds me of some Skyrim shit he just said. Bro, I have theories about Skyrim. That shit's a trip, bro. Uh, I mean, Lord of the Rings gets into it. Like a bunch of the Middle Earth theories, you know, mythology. Like, we like to brush it off so much. Mythology throughout history in all cultures, societies. We're so quick to brush it off as just entertainment, as just fiction, tales. But it's like people believed in that shit for a reason. Like, she kind of gets crazy looking into it. This is where David Icke. This is the guy David Icke got all his knowledge from. It's pretty much this dude. I think it's alleged he was part of Zulu Nation. I'm pretty sure they denounced him or something. He gets into it in his full
When you
interview.
could not see the sun as it is now, you only saw it.
This is what exactly it reminds me of what he's saying. Clear sky, see space. You get into games like Halo, they get into that, right? Or what other games? Like we're able to see space. I'm trying to think. This is like one of the most
As a as it is now. You only saw it as a splash of white light moving slowly across the sky. At that
what the hell?
time, there was an eternal drizzle every day of the year. At that time, people could not see the stars. People only saw the trees growing, trees which were very, very big. There was no desert at that time.
This is another theory. This is a tree stump, is what people say. You get into Avatar. Tree of Life. Shazam, the whole movie, they get into this tree of life. All the monsters started coming out of the tree. Remember the unicorns? Right in their faces, is what I like to believe. I don't know what they called it in the movie. right in our faces, bro. I mean, you get into the Bible. I was reading the book of Enoch. They get into the trees. They get into like really trees, geography, like the garden of Eden and like other gardens that existed at the time and other stuff. You know, in the Bible, we get Adam and Eve, the tree of knowledge of life. He's saying trees were covering the earth at a certain point, super thick. We get examples like this. It makes sense.
Only jungle everywhere where you went.
Jungle.
At that time,
And it makes so much sense how dinosaurs could have existed at a time like that. Because they're saying they needed a lot of oxygen to exist. And the trees we have today, they say it wouldn't. They get into the Jurassic Park Rebirth, they get into that. How the dinosaurs are dying because there's not enough oxygen to sustain them because of the lack of trees and foliage. They're all going to the equator where it's rich and thick jungle and foliage and green and trees and shit. Oxygen rich. So it makes so much sense how why trees were so giant. I mean, look at California. They cut a bunch of them down. I mean, there's photos of them like giant logs the size of houses, trunks, tree trunks the size of houses. Like it's insane. So it makes sense. Big ass dinosaurs being able to be sustained from such big ass trees.
people were what we call in Zulu ngubili. A human being was both male and female in one body.
A hermaphrodite or whatever.
And out of the sky, one day came terrible objects.
This is from all my research and fucking watching my videos. Bro. What he described, there's a guy who was collecting like Native American artifacts, pottery, pottery, pots, and like pieces of like clay and everything, right? Clay art. And he shows it. He shows the camera guy. It's on YouTube. Just go on YouTube. Okay, I didn't spell that right. Shit. Where is it? It was this one guy. Where is it? Let me look it up on my phone. Fuck. It's just one guy, bro. I have to show you this. It's insane. Is it this guy? It's exactly what he just
If you're living
described right now.
with HIV,
And he's talking about in Africa. This is American now.
imagine being good to go without daily HIV pills.
Please tell me this is it. I don't think this is it.
Hey guys, meaning to get meaning to get this on here for quite a while. Been kind of lazy lately.
This isn't it. I don't know how legit it is, too. Hold up. Fuck is it? No way did they get it. I know I know what page it's on. Please tell me it's on that one page I follow. Hold up. Please tell me. Here, I'm looking for it. We're on the hunt. This one page. I think I remember some titles of this. Terry Carter. I don't know if he gets into it's old as hell though, for sure. Nephilim Bones, he gets into all this. Dude, he gets into all kinds of bullshit. Aliens, lost treasures. Hold up. Check it out. Check out his page. He has a bunch of cool shit. Um, okay, I'm hoping it's on his page if I remember correctly. He has some interviews too of like people who have artifacts and shit. Let me see if I can find the one. I'm hoping I find it. Cannibal Little People. Excavating Nephilim tombs. Shit. I know I had liked it probably, but I have to go look it through on my liked. Nah, it's around here somewhere. I know it has to be this page. Did Africans visit Utah anciently? Ancient Romans in America. They get into all kinds of crazy stuff like that. Look, dragons. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Is it his channel? What the fuck? Is this it? Please tell me this is it.
Same old phone? Nah. Upgrade to the new Galaxy Z Fold 7.
Success
Oh
is
my,
the
you
hello.
mother.
I just had it.
This
So I
is
said,
it.
well, what about the
This
stuff
is it.
that are really, and
This is it. This is exactly what Credo Mutual was describing. Look,
all the pots, everything,
horned.
the pots had artifacts in them and stuff like cornmeal and all that stuff. And then we have the corn cob. And you see what it is.
Look at this shit.
Everybody says it's fake. It's too pristine. But you got to remember, this stuff was all stored, and it was all in these pots when they found them. And to the day he died, they were in a closet for about 30 years.
Fuck.
And then I got a hold of them and separated them.
That
And
one
I
he's
brought 'em
showing
to
is weird. Look.
artifact shows and stuff like that. And like I said, all of this stuff in here,
Yo, this
in
Cherry
these
Carter, check
cases
out his
right
channel.
here, is what has come out of that collection. And then we have the 3 tablets on the
Yo, this is what Credo Mutual was describing right now.
Objects. And out of the sky, one day came terrible objects. Was both male and female. What we call in Zulu, ngcukubili.
Ulugu Bailey?
A human being was both male and female in one body. And out of the sky,
He said this is what they call it in Zulu Nation. And this is Native America. Supposed, alleged artifact.
floor here that's got all the graffiti on it.
Look at that. What the
And
fuck?
artwork is amazing.
Look. This is another depiction of it. This is different tablet now. Multiple breasts, genitalia, horns, sacrificing, sun worship, what it seems like.
And you just have to let him photograph this and show you what it is.
This reminded me.
You know, you said that Mexico, you've gone.
Reminds me of like Aztec. You know Aztec, the circle, Aztec Maya. That's what it reminds
You
me
know,
of.
all over the place, and
Right.
and you know. So let me ask you this: can you tell?
Tablets, it.
A pot with the horned being on it. He gets more into that.
The eagle is either coming to take the spirit or to
The
do
soul.
something with this body. And over on the right over here, this one over here is holding this bird on a litter
And it looked like a mummified bird from Egypt.
above her head, or his head.
Doesn't know what to
one
say.
day came terrible objects. They were like gigantic bows made of huge gleaming gold.
Look at what we have today. Time repeats itself. I mean, we got people changing sexes, having both breast and male genitalia. It's insane. Time repeats itself.
They were shaped like bows without strings, and they were bigger than the biggest mountains. They came out of the sky bringing great noise, black smoke, and fire with them. And out of those huge objects came them. At that time,
Reptilians.
human beings could not speak. We had no gift of language at that time. And people had, however, great mental power. A man would go into the
Mental powers. What he said? Telepathy, whatever. Telepath. It reminds me of if you ever watched the old Planet of the Apes movies, the original series. Was it the second, third one? They get into a cult society who worship the nuclear bombs, and who currently worship in the movie, who worship a nuclear bomb that hasn't detonated yet. They found it and they started worshiping it. And of course bombs were the reason for like everything going on in the movies. Not really, but like they played a part. But like they developed telepathic powers from these bombs. They keep and telepathic, not just talking to each other, but they're able to like mentally like kill someone, like trip them out, and kill them. It's crazy.
and using the power of his mind actually call out an animal which he wanted to hunt and kill for his children. And the animal would appear and kneel down before the man, and the man
Now, I'm religious, so it reminds me of the Bible, like God creating the earth, the planet, the animals for man. We don't have to, of course, corruption came along because of the serpents, reptilians. And when we became corrupted, I'm assuming that's when animals became hostile towards us. I mean, nowadays animals run away when they see people coming by. We're not in tune with the earth anymore, with God's creation. We became corrupt from what God created.
would kill
He gets
the
into that
animal
too.
and take it home. But when
The way he describes like animal bowing down to you is like the animal recognizing, oh, you're God's creation, God's children, pretty much. Like, oh, right? Because God made the animals, the earth for us. But of course, corruption detached us from what God created.
the
God's true
Chitauri
intention.
arrived in Africa, they told our people that they were gods and that they were going to give us human beings great gifts on one condition. We had to worship them and accept them as our creators.
Because they were jealous of the one true creator who kicked them out of heaven, banished them on earth. Pretty wild. Fallen angels. I think these are the offspring of Nephilim. People get confused of Nephilim being just giants, when Nephilim are the spirits that fell from heaven, who procreated with humans, creating giant races and other abominable hybrids, human hybrids, centaurs. You get into all kind of mythological cryptids and shit. It ties into all that. The Egyptians worshiping humanoid animal gods, all that stuff. Like a lot of what he's saying makes a lot of sense, like to me.
Some told our people that they were our elder brothers and that this earth had produced them generations ago. And
Of course, they're lying.
They
They
said
just
they
want to be
had come
worshipped.
back to the green womb of their mother and that
They didn't come back. They were kicked out from heaven. But this is just all manipulation, getting to be worshipped, right? Because that's what they want. That's what they're jealous of, to be worshipped. Jealous of us, pretty much, because God gave us earth, to rule and to have, control over, So they came along and corrupted everything and took over. This is
they
how I,
were going
this is how I tie it all in together. I don't believe in coincidences. I don't believe in none of that shit. Too coincidental that there's pyramids in pretty much all continents of the world. I don't believe in coincidences. I just don't. You get into all ancient religions, cultures, societies, they all believe in star people. They all believe in gods coming down from the skies, teaching them stuff. I don't believe in coincidences. That's
to
just
make us into gods. What they did, they created a very strange pair of caves in the land. They dug two caves. In one cave was a green light, in another cave was a red light. And they drove human beings into these caves. And each human being had
inner earth. That's where you get into inner earth theories, hollow earth theories. And the lights coming from these caves are the artificial suns. We may call them that if we want to.
to choose which cave the human being wanted to go into.
Green or
And
red.
those who went into the green cave came out as women. And
What
those
the
who went
fuck?
into the red cave came out as men. And then the talkers, the Chitauri, told our people that now they were perfect. But the moment the first men saw the first women, a terrible row erupted. The women hated the men because they looked between their legs and they saw what they thought were snakes dangling between the legs of the men.
Wait, so he's saying in this history, humans had no gender until they came along? That's a little weird. Or they were this before we. Nah, but he's just saying they first time seeing a penis and all that stuff. What?
And the men hated the women because they looked on their chests and they saw these big things. What they were, they did not know. And then the Chitauri laughed. It was to them a very, very big joke. And then the Chitauri said, if you serve us, you wretched little human beings, we are
Oh
going
shit.
to make you into gods. And the human beings agreed to serve the Chitauri. And the Chitauri gave human beings a second gift, the gift of language. People started talking with their tongues where they had talked with their minds before. And there was a big rubbish.
Now this is challenging to my beliefs and many other beliefs, of course, too. Okay, so he's saying like we were telepaths before language came along. We didn't need to talk. We didn't need to have sex, right? That's what he's saying to reproduce. Because he's saying we didn't have genitalia. In Christianity, I think when they ate that from the tree of knowledge, they realized they were naked. Is the moment they realized they were naked, and that's what kind of sounded like when he said when they first saw each other naked. They saw their breasts and their genitalia. They're like, "What is this?" That just reminds me of the moment in the Bible where it says they both became aware of their nakedness. but they used a cave instead of a tree. And then going into these caves would determine the gender. The caves, I feel like, symbolize a womb, the female womb. Green and red, though. You said green for male and red for women? Strange. It ties in, though. It's very similar.
Because this man did not know the language of that man. And when this man greeted that man, this man thought that he was being insulted, and so a lot of murder and culpable homicide started taking place all over the world. When our people were given language,
It divided
they found
us.
to their horror that they had lost much of their mental powers.
In the Bible, they say that at one point we spoke all the same language, but God didn't. We spoke all the same language, and because of that, we were, getting along with each other, right? No problems with communication. But because of that, people began sharing ideas, right? No problem with communication, so we could share ideas, knowledge, and because of that, people became inventing stuff that was like abominable to God, like inventing things that just were abominable to God. They started doing wicked things with such knowledge with each other, being able to share such knowledge with each other. So God created the languages of the world and made it to where everyone doesn't speak the same language anymore. Like people can't communicate so easily with each other anymore. Fuck, look at cell phones, connecting everybody now. But back to this point, that's in the Bible. And you get the whole Tower of Babel. And Babel, that's where you get babbling and everything from. I haven't gotten to the specifics. I didn't get really specific about it, but you got the gist, right? The comparison. I find it interesting. Very similar, like, but of course in the Bible it's saying God, and of course in this it's saying these beings from the stars and everything. Who knows? Because the Book of Enoch and everything, it gets into like weird shit like this.
They had paid a terrible price. But the Chitauri were now the masters of human beings. They made them, the human beings, to go into holes in the ground and to mine metal, gold,
Underground
copper,
cities.
tin, all kinds.
In the Book of Enoch, they talk about the fallen ones, the fallen angels, the fallen ones, teaching humans, metalwork, jewelry, how to make weapons out of metals, precious metals, elements, and all that stuff. How to make armor, jewelry, all that stuff. This
kinds of metal the Chitauri forced our people to mine. And the people were very unhappy because they couldn't cope with the new sexual differences which were there now between men and women. And
so that's different.
From amongst the Chitauri came a very good female Chitauri. Her name was Mai Nzarantwari Samahongo. Mai Nzarantwari Samahongo was the senior wife of the terrible chief of the Chitauri, Umbaba Gorontwari Samahongo. She was so
Chitauri, the species he's talking about is reptilian, I believe.
sorry for human beings, this great
Reptilians.
reptile lady. She said to the poor
That little statue he was holding, the little head, was the representation of the picture behind him.
people, "Ow, you are unhappy." And the people said, "Yes, great one. We go into the holes every day, we dig the stones and we bring it to the gods. But we are not happy."
Mining. I got into this the other day. The Mega My season. Resident Evil Village. Doom. They go mining in Mars to find the artifacts. Right? They were mining in Mars. What other? Thinking of a movie right now. I'm thinking of a movie I just thought of. With mining. Jurassic Park, that mine for the little amber to recreate animal hybrids and shit. It's insane.
And my Nzarantwari scratched her scaly chin and began to think and to think.
It makes sense how some people can be mute. Like some people are born mute. Or they like telepathically like imagine they just
She
can't
was
say anything because they're
terribly
mute.
ugly. Her eyes were awful, like lights in the darkness. But she had mercy in her heart. And she taught the men and the women how to make love. And she said, "Look, we divided you into males and females. Now this action is going to bring you together." Ah, but it did not, because
In Greece, I did a video about this. The god of love is like Aphrodite. And she has a son like Hermaphrodites who like switches who goes both ways. Men and women. It's crazy. It's so
anyone who
similar and like all like you can find the similarities all over the place.
receives a gift from the Ntwari, the children of the python, is always in trouble. What happened was that when one guy slept with his wife, he didn't find her much, so he went to steal another guy's wife, and there was a big remorse, as we say in Afrikaans, starting. So men started stealing each other's wives and each other's girlfriends, and women started stealing each other's husbands, and there was a big nonsense in the land. And King Umbaba, the terrible lord of the Ntwari, the reptile people, said, "Look what you've
Reptile
done, you
people.
stupid old woman. Now these people, they are making such a noise. Listen to all that screaming in the bush. They are busy making love there, and our gold is not being dug, and you are responsible for this."
Ooh.
Nzarantwari thought and thought and
Ooh. Bite in their own ass by their own.
thought and thought, and then she got a plan, and she said, "I will make them stop. When they make love to each other, the female is going to get pregnant.
Oh.
And when she is pregnant, the male is going to leave her alone, and that noise in the bush will not be so disturbing to you, my lord." And Umbaba said, "You had better. There is no production here." And so
So humans didn't reproduce before that? It was just for pleasure? And it makes me think now, was Adam and Eve ever meant to procreate and have children, or was it just supposed to be them too? That's
all
a
the
question. That's a question I have.
women in the world was pregnant, and Umbaba was furious with his wife. And so it went on and on until one day Nzarantwari activated a black hero called Mweru. And Mweru challenged the great chief of the serpent people to a fight. And he cut off the royal penis of
Oh
the
shit.
king of the snake people. and that caused a big war. Mweru ran away, but Umbaba, the terrible chief of the...
And now they're getting revenge, these reptilians. They want their genitalia back.
People caught him and arrested him and brought him to his village. And there, the great chief Gorontwari Umbaba said, look, you cut off my thing, and I have replaced it with one made of gold, and I can't make love to my wife anymore.
Gold.
You think too much, you wretched little human being. Now, Umbaba had a terrible nail in one of his hands, a claw. And with this claw, he drove the claw into poor Mweru's nostril.
Oh, shit.
Making a terrible hole into his brain, and he started drinking Mweru's brain, and then
Lobotomy.
he threw away the corpse. To this day, sir, we believe that the people, the Chitauri people, they eat human brains. And strangely enough,
Brains.
scientists have found
Zombies. Brains.
skulls where the human brain has been removed and eaten by someone or something.
Napoleon had that.
Well, the hearing you speak here, so many things
That's David
come
Icke.
to mind. First of all,
I'm gonna do
you're
here.
saying that telepathy was the key form of communication before the Chitauri, the reptilians came.
Pretty cool ass video.
And,
He has a whole 2-hour video. He has little statues.
more sensitive and more powerful.
He gets into like alien races and all that shit.
Powerful your mind got. And then when language came, it almost
It gets
brought us
deep.
into this three-dimensional world and disconnected us from that mind power that we
Yeah.
had before.
Yes.
And it's also interesting that the story that you talk about, the language being given, and then the different languages being given. Of course, that turns up in the Old Testament.
Yup,
In the
exactly
Bible.
what I
It
was
turns
saying.
up in stories all over the world about the fact that we were divided by language, so we couldn't
Uh-huh.
communicate. And as someone who
Alright, I'm gonna do here.